Hello, Crime Junkie Jurors. Hello, hello. I am very excited for tonight. We have the jury foreman with us in Donna Adelson's trial that just wrapped up. For those of you who watched it with me, you know that I can't even count how many times we're like, I wonder what the jury's thinking. I wonder what the jury's thinking. I wonder what the jury thought about that. So now we get to ask the jury what they think about that. So JC, I appreciate you so much being with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here.
I'm totally excited to pick your brain. And I have about a million questions, but I'm going to try to go a little bit in order of, because you and I were talking about this backstage. Like my ADHD, I bounce back and forth. So I'm going to try to keep everything in a little bit of an order, but I also am very much like squirrel. So if we bounce around, then they might have to rein me back in.
It's fine with me.
Okay, good.
It's exactly how I am.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I just have to ask you about just the case in general, because this case was huge in Tally, but it was also like 11 years ago that all of this happened. So how long have you lived in Leon County, and had you heard of this case going into it?
Yeah. So at this point in time, I've lived in the Tallahassee area for 5 years. I'd say like 10 to 12 months of the last 5 years I spent in Thomasville, Georgia. And so overall, like 4 to 5 years here.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I've never heard of this case until the trial, which is crazy. Everyone's like, do you live under a rock? And yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, and I had wondered about that too, because I know it was so big in Tally, but also it was so long ago. So, it's not totally unheard of for, so many of the jurors to have not heard about it. But what is your experience like with the judicial process? Have you ever been called to jury duty before, or was this your first time?
Yes, actually, every single year that I have lived in Tallahassee, I've been summoned. And
really?
Yes. So 4 other times. 3 of those times, it was canceled before I even had to show up. And the 4th time, I got like, I don't want to say pretty far in the process, but, was up in the courtroom going through questioning. And then the first round of people, they decided who they wanted to keep and who they wanted to let go. And I was like the first one to be let go.
Oh, yeah. Were you bummed? I feel like I want to be on a jury. I think that would be such an experience.
Yes. I've been wanting to. I've always thought it was so cool. I mean, because I haven't known that much about the whole process, but just any opportunity to learn and like be involved in that type of way, super exciting to me. So I was bummed, but at the same time, it was okay. I didn't have my ADHD meds yet at that point in time, so my appetite wasn't suppressed, and I'm sure you know how that is.
Yes, absolutely.
So I was getting pretty like hangry, and I was like, okay, it's okay.
Yeah,
we can go. I'll get a snack.
Yeah. Oh, the snacks. Let's just skip everything else for now and just get to the snacks. That's the real hard-hitting questions that everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know about the snacks that the judge got you.
Yeah. So I like
such a big deal.
Yes, everyone's so concerned, which is so funny to me. I didn't even know that he was going to get us snacks, but then they made a joke about how he went on a special Costco trip for us, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then there was a bunch of snacks. They were good, like in theory. I have 2 young kids, and it's like the type of snacks I buy for them when they're just like, oh, I'm hungry, but I don't really want to eat. So it's like stuff that I have all the time. It wasn't anything super exciting, but it was like chips, fruit snacks, like Nutri-Grain bars and like granola bars, stuff like that. There was chocolates. They had new chocolates every day.
Gotcha. So judge snacks are like mom snacks, basically.
Yes. That's a great way to put it. If he had like threw in like those little cuties, like the little oranges, or maybe like a banana or something, I think I would have been like a super happy camper. But overall, they were good. I just don't eat them that much. And I thought it was really sweet that Judge Everett even got snacks for everyone.
Yeah. That was really nice. I loved him. Did you think he was incredible? We all thought he was incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. And you could tell he cared about the jury. I loved that.
Yes, he did so much. And I thought that was really sweet because I don't know. I feel like it's like a stereotype where judges are just like, and mean.
Yeah.
But he was nice. He was nice to us. So that was cool.
Yeah, we loved him. And the trial that I did before this, we did not love the judge as much. So that was refreshing. Okay, so opening statements. I want to talk about that because that is generally the time, like it's an opportunity for the attorneys to give kind of a roadmap of everything that the evidence is going to show related to their side of the story. So I am always kind of hanging on to every word in the opening statements because it's really your first glimpse of where they're going to go. So what were your first impressions of the opening statements for the prosecution?
Once they got started, I was like, wow, they're really like prepared. So they did so good at like, I don't know, giving you like a preview of everything that was to come. I mean, it wasn't a short amount of time, but like in a short amount of time, just showing you a lot. And I thought they were really well prepared and put together. I thought it was great. It was so interesting. I was like, ooh, okay, it's going to be an interesting 2 weeks.
Yeah. She was very detailed. Sarah Cather Duke, she was very detailed in hers. And then you have the defense openings, which were in contrast, very, very short. I think it was like 22 minutes or something. So what were your first impressions of the defense openings?
I thought Jackie really like turned on her charm, or she tried to anyway. Like, oh, she played that old lady act, which I feel like she also tried to get Donna to play now that we're done with this. But I think she tried to, give us that charm by, I don't know, I guess just putting on the show of being an old lady, not technically sound or articulate in that way, and doing things old school, however she said it. But I don't think they made any like really like defensive arguments in a sense. I thought like I was confused, if I'm being completely honest, after their opening statements, because I was like, why? Like, I don't know. I have to refer to my notes because I took some. But I mean,
I love that you're a note taker because I am meticulous.
Well, you know, with all the flying thoughts all the time, I have to write things down, otherwise it's just gone. But right off the bat, Miss Fulford, I think that's her name. She's cracking jokes about the court reporter. That time, she didn't start with the crazy joke she said, but she's like saying she talks too much and she needs to slow down because the court reporter is going to scream at her. So I don't know why she didn't go with that joke that second time.
Yeah, that was bad. How many of the jurors picked up on that? And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, she made the joke about needing to slow down or else the court reporter was going to shoot her, which is obviously a huge misstep. I don't think it was. I hope it wasn't an intentional thing. It was probably one of those things. You know, she put her foot in her mouth, but it was. We cringed when that happened. Oh, we cringed when that happened. How many of y'all picked up on that?
I think once we were able to finally talk about it, I mean, it was like either the next day or 2 days later when we were actually able to deliberate, and it was like one of the first things that some of us brought up. I think overall, probably 50% of us caught on to that, and the others were like, I didn't even hear her say that. But I was like, oh, it wasn't a good look for her. It wasn't not good. Yeah,
we all cringed. And okay, so you say that you take a lot of notes, and you mentioned that there was a whiteboard. So I'm a very visual learner, and I know most people are. So I also wanted to ask you about the visual aids that they actually had with both sides. There were some that the defense had that, like you said, you know, Jackie Fulford was saying, like, they're kind of old school. And then there were some that the prosecution had that, from what we got to see, seemed really helpful. So did either side have visual help that made a difference in helping to understand certain evidence or testimony? Like, what were the big hits and misses there?
Yeah, I think the prosecution did a really good job. I think their presentations and all of their visual aids really like helped tie in all of their evidence and the timeline of everything. for me personally, that was extremely helpful because if I can see it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I see that. Like connecting all the pieces. As far as the defense, I mean, they obviously had their visuals, but I feel like, I mean, they put a picture of Mr. Markel up and then a picture of Donna, and they went off that. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like their visuals didn't really help, but as far as like the opening statements, they didn't really like hurt it either, if that makes any sense.
With all of the other stuff, with like the emails and the especially the emails and the texts and things like that, because I feel like there were so many words, and with the wiretaps, you know, there's so many words, and I noticed, because we didn't get to see the board the whole time. We only got to see it when the cameraman would show it. But I saw that there were parts that were highlighted, you know, like when she would call him names, or the times she was talking about control. How important was that for y'all? Because did y'all actually go through and read all of the text and emails and all of that when you were deliberating, or did you kind of rely on that visual?
We did actually go through them. I know during certain parts of like conversation, multiple people looking at like the email binder or the text message binder, whatever else. And then we also brought up the wiretap video to play because they did introduce the transcript for those videos, but it wasn't, we couldn't use it as like actual evidence, just like as an aid to hear what they were saying. So we pulled up the video. I think all of those things were very, very helpful to be able to go back and look at during deliberations. I think it was super helpful. I don't think if we did not have all of that, I think it would have been a lot harder to, I think we probably would have been in there a lot longer also.
Yeah. I think with the timeline too. I think that their visuals for the timeline really showed, you know, put everything together really well.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
Okay, this one's more like a gossip type thing.
Yeah.
There was one point when the jury wasn't in there, and the defense attorney Zellner said to the judge that there were people in the gallery who were causing some kind of disruption, and he said that, you know, it's right over my right shoulder. They're causing some kind of disruption. Did y'all notice any of that? Was anybody in the gallery talking or making noises or anything that you noticed?
I don't think like in the actual gallery. There was one point I remember being in there. There was like a lot of commotion in the hallway, and everyone looked like to see what it was about. They sent a bailiff out there. It was handled. I don't even know what it was. I don't think any of us ended up knowing what it was about.
Yeah.
But if I'm like putting myself like visually where he was sitting, it would have been his left shoulder. So where the sound was coming from. So I'm not really sure what commotion he was talking about.
Yeah. I was curious about that because one of his arguments for that was he didn't want whatever's going on behind him to influence the jury. So I was like, well, if he's saying it's influencing the jury, I wondered if any of the jury actually heard whatever it is he's talking about, but I guess not.
I may have, but I'm not remembering it. So it must not have been like something super noticeable.
Yeah. Nothing that would have made an impact.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, Dan's death was 11 years prior to all of this. Did that time frame give you any pause about what you were seeing? Like why would it take 11 years to get here? Why are we just now going to trial? Did any of that kind of put a cloud on the evidence you were seeing?
I don't think it really put a cloud, but I mean, it was definitely a thought I kept in my mind. Like, okay, if she's charged with these 3 major things, why are we here 11 years later? I didn't understand that, but I feel like once we got through the trial and after learning about the 4 others that were, you know, tried and convicted before her, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think the state and whoever else was involved with their investigation, I think they were very like strategic. Yeah. So it makes sense now, but I feel like learning that initially, I was very confused about that. Like, why are we here 11 years later?
Yeah.
But they had a lot of evidence. So, I mean, it didn't really hurt anything.
There was a lot of evidence. I agree. And And I want to ask about what you thought about, okay, I know that you're there to pay attention to the evidence and deliberate on what is being presented to you for Donna Adelson.
Mm-hmm.
However, we all want to know about Wendy. Based on what you heard, let's just say theoretically, if you were on the jury for Wendy and heard some of what you heard, would you think she is also guilty for conspiring, or do you think that there is knowledge?
I think she definitely knew. I don't think they could have planned all of what they planned without her. But, like I've said in some of my own videos, I feel like she insulated herself a little too well. I mean, she is a lawyer after all. She probably, was smart in that sense and like got around some things. But I do think she is guilty of being involved. Just, I don't know what to extent. And I also feel like, I don't know, considering like the law that we went over for what Donna was charged with, I don't think, based off of what we've seen during the trial, I could convict her of being guilty for those charges. But definitely something like whether it's accessory or, I mean, even conspiracy. I guess I just don't know all of the laws, but I do think she should be next.
Yeah. And I said the exact same thing. I was like, based on what we've seen, because we haven't been able to see everything, obviously. Based on what we've seen, I don't think that there is enough for me to say guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, because that's a huge burden for a good reason. But also based on what we've seen, I think she might be next. And then we might get the rest of the story. So, yeah. And one thing that you picked up on was, and I was so curious when this was happening, because I was like, I wonder if the jury is going to catch this, because it wasn't given back to back. But the testimony that Wendy gave saying that she did not turn on Trescott, but then Officer Brannon was like, yeah, the roadblock was near the house. So she would have had to have turned on Trescott to get that close and see the crime scene tape. So is that something that other jurors picked up on as well? And what do you...
I definitely picked up on it. I feel like we briefly talked about it. I just don't remember 100% exactly what we were saying about Wendy. Just like some of us stating that we definitely think she's next. Some of her testimony and then like other people's testimonies like contradicted each other. It was very weird. But I know for me personally, because I feel like I remember her saying she turned off of Centerville to try to go on Trescott. But then when the, what was his name? The one that did all of the mapping, I can't remember names for the life of me. It's awful. Just another state's witness, when they presented like the mapping, showed pictures of where the roadblock was in comparison to the house. The road where like Centerville was way over here and the roadblock was way over here. So for her to say she couldn't even get on Trescott, I was like, okay, girl, you just,
I'm so glad that you picked up on that, because it was one of those things that she said it in kind of in passing in her testimony. And then, and I think Rob came after her, if I remember right. And
I think so.
Maybe I'm wrong. And then Officer Brandon was like at the end of the day or however it was. But however it was, I remember the testimony wasn't together. So I was really hoping that y'all were going to kind of pick up on that. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah. I feel like the majority of us probably did. I feel like we all caught on to a lot of the same things. I know each different person like caught on to something else someone else didn't. So it was very helpful that we all had so many different like brains coming together for everything. It was great. But for her to say that she tried to turn onto Trescott, but she couldn't, so she turns around, and then to finding out where the roadblock actually was and seeing the photo from the roadblock showing the house, for her to, be right there, see all of the activity going on at the house, and then not calling in concern to see if Dan was okay, her kids were okay, law enforcement, like, hey, like my kids stay with their dad on this street. Like, what's going on? None of that. It's not helping her.
Yeah.
At all.
Because as a mother, is that not the first thing you would do? Like if I hear, on the scanner that there was, a black car in an accident, I'm immediately calling my kid like, oh my gosh, are you okay? It doesn't even matter if it could just be in the same town and I'm going to panic. And so
I wouldn't have whipped around. I would have parked my car probably very poorly, jumped out and started screaming like, what is going on? My kids live there half the time. Like, why? What's going on?
Yeah.
But to not even have that, no concern.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can take from that is because she knew her kids were okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. It seemed like she was trying to distance herself from all of that. Like, oh no, I didn't even get near the house. I was just on my way to the liquor store.
That was completely out of her way.
Yes, exactly. Now, it came out during the trial, too, that Wendy has not talked to Donna since like November of 2023, which is when Donna was arrested. When she was there, when she was up on the stand and everything, were you able to pick up on any tension between them, or did it seem
tension? I don't know if that's the word I would use, but I mean, she definitely avoided looking at her mom.
Oh, really?
As much as I think the only time she looked in that direction was if the attorneys and judge called sidebar and they went to discuss. So, Donna would be watching the attorneys walk and then Wendy would just like very quickly peek over at her.
Yeah.
And it was weird because, I mean, I'm an observer. I watch people, just to see their behaviors, whatever. Donna, she got like really excited. It seems like sit like a puppy with its tail in between its legs or something, just like waiting for Wendy to look at her, but she never did.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yes. It was it was interesting. So tension, I'm not sure, but I did see like Wendy was really trying not to look at her mom.
Yeah. What about when Rob was on the stand?
Oh.
How was she during that?
Donna?
Yeah.
Oh, she's very like, she's really like, I don't know. She's had a cold face. It seemed like just very like,
yeah,
looking down a lot, I feel.
So basically totally different than how she was when Wendy was on the stand.
100% different.
Wow.
She kept looking up at Wendy, and then when Rob was up there, she was looking down a lot or just had a straight face looking at the judge or whoever else or the jury members.
Yeah.
I caught a lot of unintentional eye contact with Donna throughout this trial. It was very uncomfortable at times.
I bet that's awkward. Yeah.
Yes. Because she just like I don't know. She just like the look on her face. I know when like I zone out and I have like a blank stare. Hers was like that, but like it was kind of scary making eye contact.
When y'all were listening to like all of the Charlie Adelson rambling on all of the wire calls, did y'all see that she had one of her headphones on like backwards to where y'all did see that?
Well, no, I saw it for sure. I thought it was like a little funny because I was like, oh, are they really trying to sell this old lady act? Like, I don't know if she put it on wrong, because sometimes the lady that was sitting to the left of her would like help her with her headphones a lot of the time. So yeah. Like, oh, is she like, they're just trying to play it like she can't do anything for herself, or like I didn't understand it, but I caught myself like trying not to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It was an uncomfortable experience to be there. So just my unseriousness and whatever. Yeah. I was trying not to laugh because I was like, I know it's on backwards. I just don't know why it is.
Yeah. And I think like once you've heard all of her emails and how calculated she is and her action plan and all of these things, once you hear all that, you're like, this is a very calculated woman. So then everything that she does, like her earphone being inverted, everything like that, for me, I'm just automatically like, well, this is also something with her being calculated. It puts like a fog over everything that I see that she does, because there's nothing that I see from her now based on all of that stuff where I'm like, oh, this is just an innocent little,
Right.
And so.
Yes.
Now, this was Rob's first time testifying in any of the trials. He's never testified before.
Really?
The defense said that he came because he had an axe to grind. What did you make of his testimony and his credibility and how he was on the stand?
I think his testimony personally was very powerful. I think it held a lot of weight, especially because, when he was explaining, when he got the call from Donna that Mr. Markel was shot, she just volunteered the detail of like, oh, someone went up to his door, said, "Hey, are you Dan Markel?" and then shot him. And I mean, he brought up the same exact point that I was thinking, like, oh, how would she know that?
Right.
So that was like the first thing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take note of that. That's interesting. And just the fact that no one was curious about what was going on or like who did it, what happened. And then he hears about I don't know, I can't remember who was arrested first. Was it Garcia?
Yeah, Sigfredo
Yes.
Garcia was 1st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when that arrest happened, he's, explaining how the next time he talked to his mom, he tried to bring it up multiple times and she just like ignored it. But then all of a sudden she's like, I gotta go. And then that was the last time they ever spoke.
Yeah.
But and that came, now my squirrel brain is showing. But that also came, that first initial phone call, or was it the second, when she was like, don't talk to the FBI?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah. It's very weird. And then he's like, oh, I already did. And she's like, that's okay. You don't know anything anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought it was interesting too, when he was saying that she, at one point was like, she's like, oh, I don't know. And I don't care about what happened. And like, she is all up in everybody's everything. She's the type that wants to know and meddle in every single thing. So you can't tell me that her response to anything would be, I don't know and I don't care. She wants to know everything and cares about everything. So
if she wasn't involved, she would have wanted to know it all, because she was involved in every aspect of their divorce and all of those court, whatever they needed to do. She was so involved in his life. So for her to be like, oh, I don't care and I don't know, that's, it didn't do her any justice. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel for him, honestly. I can't imagine like being in his position. I think he was trying really, really hard to keep it together. I think. Yeah. So I felt for him. Like my heart was sad when he was in the stand, but
his testimony seemed very heavy.
Yes.
Like it was heavy on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so interesting that she was acting so different with him on the stand than Wendy. That's so interesting to me.
I thought it was interesting too. Like clearly she has favorites.
Yeah. What about Harvey? What are your thoughts on Harvey? Do you think that he knew before, or do you think that he found out after?
I don't recall like anything specific that makes me like for sure think he knew about it beforehand. I mean, they talked about his birthday present, whatever. But he 100% knew after the fact at some point in time before the bump happened or something like that, or around maybe a little bit after it happened. Maybe that's when he got filled in. I don't know. Because one of the wiretap videos of him and Charlie at the restaurant, you can hear him say, I think they have our cell phones tapped.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't just say that if you, you look at someone's bag and you're like, I think they have our cell phones tapped. That's a little, I feel like it's telling.
I think so too. I go back and forth so much on when I think he knew anything. And I change my own mind when I'm arguing with myself in my crazy head over when I think he knew or when I think he didn't. How was he in the courtroom so when the verdict was read, we saw Donna's outburst, of course, but we couldn't see Harvey. It didn't show Harvey until after. What was he like during the verdict being read? Was he kind of stoic?
I wish I knew. I after the first guilty verdict was read, I was trying to hold it together. Like I felt really, my heart was heavy. Like I was like, ooh, okay. So I'm just going to look at the judge, and I did not see his face, and I wish I did, because I was paying attention to everyone the whole time up until that point, and I couldn't. So I don't know, and I wish I did.
Yeah. And we're going to get back to the verdict more in a minute, but I want to ask too, while we're talking about witnesses and everything, I want to ask about the co-conspirators, Luis Rivera and Katie McBanawa. because one of the things that I think has been crucial to the prosecutions that we've seen is Luis Rivera, in his plea deal, because he agreed to testify. And then Katie McBanois, during the first 2 trials, which she was being tried, she maintained her innocence. She didn't have a role in it. She doesn't know. She's not, whatever. And she changed that right before Charlie's trial. So I'm curious, for each of those, what did you think about their testimony? Did you find them credible? And how much weight did you put into all of that?
I mean, considering that they are co-conspirators, I mean, you couldn't take anything, like all of what they were saying, as 100% credible. I found with Rivera's testimony, the state, well, he was like trying to say that he didn't know who was involved because he explained, oh my gosh, how am I trying to word this? Let me start over. The defense made it seem like he knew Wendy wanted Dan to be killed.
Yeah.
And I feel like they probably coerced is probably too serious of a term.
Guided him.
Encouraged him to, sign initial next to people's photos and whatnot. Whatever. But he also said, I'm pretty sure he also said that if he knew who was hiring them for that hit, he would have gone and just robbed them himself. Yeah. Right. So I feel like the defense really, really tried to get him on board with their story. And I think they didn't do a great job at that because he was saying a lot of things that would show that he didn't know who was involved.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe him saying, I guess I haven't ever seen, was he ever tried for this?
Or Lewis, no, he took a plea deal. So he took a plea deal in the beginning. So they ended up giving him a 19-year sentence, but he was already serving 12 years fed time for something unrelated. So basically they just tacked on 7 years to his sentence in exchange for him testifying against everybody.
Oh, interesting.
So he talked to the police before anybody was prosecuted. He talked to the police and gave them information, took them on the routes that they drove. He tried to find the bridge where he said they threw the gun, and they searched for the gun but couldn't find it. But he told them everything. He also is the one that told them about that first trip that they took in June, because the police didn't even know.
Yes. I remember that part coming up.
Yeah.
I just found it very weird, just saying he would have gone and robbed those people if he knew it was involved, but then saying, oh, Wendy wanted the kids and that's why we were hired for this. So it's really hard to say what exactly is truth in there, but I feel like him saying, I think he was 100% truthful in saying that if he knew who was wanting all of this done, he probably would have gone and robbed them.
Yeah.
Without having to go through all of this. Katie, yes. So I feel like both the state and the defense, really made it known to everyone that she changed her story every single time that she's been called to testify or whatever. Her, what do they call it? Proffers?
Yeah.
Yes. All the terms. It's a lot. Yeah. My brain is still trying to recover from those intense 2 weeks. But
yeah,
I think it was it then that she revealed, talking about how the night of the murder, she goes over to Charlie's house and then he says, my parents just left. And then obviously we could see that from the text message pings, the mapping, whatever. And then him saying oh, my mom just washed the money. I feel like that's something she probably would do. I don't know her, so I can't say 100% sure, but I feel like that's something Donna would probably do.
Yeah. The one time she's done her own laundry in her life, and it was,
Yeah, considering she was saying that Charlie put all of the documents that the hitman needed in the envelope with gloves on. So his fingerprints weren't on it. I feel like that.
Yeah.
Those little details I feel like kind of added up. I think it was very weird that this time to testify, she wasn't offered anything from my understanding. And I feel like she didn't really offer up any super useful information.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel bad for her in the sense of she, from my understanding, lost her opportunity at a plea deal to stick up for her no good baby dad.
Yeah.
And I'm just making my own story up in my head about that. I feel like she was probably scared of him. Like, she probably didn't want to turn on him because, I mean, she knows he just went and killed a random person. To him, it was random.
Yeah.
So he probably has connections of, you know.
Yeah. I would think she would probably be scared of him too.
Yes, because I feel like you don't just, that's not just like a random thing that someone would do. Like, to travel all that way, go through all of that trouble. He's probably done it before, like grew up around people who are actively involved in all of that stuff. But considering that, I mean, she's definitely involved, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think she was admitting to how fully involved she was. She probably knew more than what she was telling us she knew. I feel like you can't just...
I agree.
I mean, considering she was like back and forth between Charlie and Garcia, like, it's not just something you would do just because.
Yeah. I think she definitely tried to minimize her role in everything. Yes. I think that the most important part of her testimony was she was able to say that it was Halloween when Charlie approached her, because that compared to the timeline, you know, with him, it was Halloween when he's telling Wendy, you know, not to buy the house because she's not going to be in Tally long. And then of course, you know, saying that Charlie had told her that, you know, his parents had just dropped off the money. To me, I think those two things were like the most crucial part of her stuff. And because both those things could be corroborated too, or at least the fact that they were at the Halloween party, that police officer said that they were able to corroborate that. And then of course the text from Donna that they're outside, that was, you know, kind of corroborated what she said about that. So
yeah, I feel like, I would agree. Those two things definitely, like, they held some weight, definitely good evidence in the sense of what we were there for. But as far as just like overall credibility, those two, I would not like.
Yeah.
We didn't rely 100% on what they were saying. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Did you notice when Jackie Fulford called Lewis?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. When then she like leaned out like she was going to pat him. I was like, don't pat the hitman. Don't pat the hitman.
I just feel like she's very like out of tune of what was going on. Like, obviously she knew what they were there for, but there was moments I really felt like she forgot who she was supposed to be defending.
Yeah, I agree. I think I said that multiple times while I was streaming. I was like, I don't think she remembers sometimes like who her client is, because she.
Yes, that also, and then looking at the co-defense, the co-counsel, whatever the proper term is, he would be like looking at her just like pissed, like trying to like telepathically communicate with her, like shut up. It was funny to see, you know, after the fact now, like just picking up on those random little things. But I really felt like she forgot genuinely who she was supposed to be defending.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I think so too. Okay, I want to talk about some of the FBI information.
Okay.
Bump is one of the most talked about pieces of evidence. So
I can see why.
Yeah, it was like it's like the highlight of the trial, I think. So what were your thoughts watching that video and then hearing the phone calls that happened after that?
Yeah, so watching the video, I mean, the fact, like, I can't get over. I mean, I know not every person on earth is the same, but I feel like if you were approached on the street and someone was blackmailing you, wouldn't you like open the paper in front of them to see what the heck you're talking about, like while they're talking? But she doesn't. She just like sits there after she's like, oh, you scared me. And then walks away and puts it in her purse without ever looking at it. And then she still continues to go get her grandkids and come back the same exact way.
Yeah. Yeah.
If she were innocent, I feel like she would have been like all discombobulated and all over the place and frantic, but she wasn't. And then once, you know, she gets back home, immediately calls Charlie. And I feel like, I know she was talking in code about Harvey's birthday present, which was before Dan was shot. But I feel like when those pieces of evidence were introduced, I feel like that was really like what like got it in my mind. Like, okay, I feel like she's confessing here, because saying like, it probably involves the both of us, the two of us. She said it twice. Said it twice. And then, just Charlie and his that's another thing. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I feel like if Charlie didn't have such a big, stupid mouth, they may have gotten away with it in some way. But I feel like he ruins that for them, because he just kept pushing and pushing. And then she just randomly says, oh, I think the TV was probably about $5,000.
Yeah.
And he's like, they want $5,000? Like, what?
Yeah. What a moron.
That was like a big thing. Like, that got the light bulb in my head on for sure. I had to emphasize that in my notes, because it was like, this is big.
Yeah. That was so I also took that as a confession. And when we were in closings, I know I'm jumping all over the place now too. When when we were in closing arguments, and it may have been the rebuttal. I can't remember, but Georgia Kappelman, she was like, she mentioned that part, and she was like, if there's any juror who wants to acquit her, you make them tell you how that is not a confession. Yeah. And I got chills when she said that, because I was like, that's such a good point, because it's a flyer about Dan's death, and she says it involves the two of us.
Yes. I feel like that was a confession, and I feel like it can't be explained in any other logical sense.
Yeah.
Because how else would it involve the two of us if you weren't talking about the fact that you guys murdered him?
Yeah.
Or paid for someone to do it.
Yeah. How annoying was Charlie? Every time she's like, let's not talk about it over the phone. Let's talk in person. Let's not talk about this right now. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And then he continues to talk about it. Just, he's like the guy who doesn't take a hint.
Yes. You could tell. I mean, have you ever met those people in real life who you could just tell no one's ever told them to shut up before?
Yes. Yes.
I feel like that was him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely him.
Yeah. So yeah, I do feel like he was the downfall of the Adelsons.
Yeah. And with as much as he rambles, was it hard to stay focused on all of those wiretap calls? Because he rambles and he talks in circles. And then they also talk in code, but then they swap the code midway through. There are sometimes it's like he bounces around trying to, talk in code and then not talk in code and then talk in code, but it's a different code. And how hard was that to follow all of that rambling mess?
I mean, it was definitely a little difficult for sure. I mean, especially having to sit there for 8 hours listening to all of that. Thank God we got to break it up into pieces here and there. But I've also known people like that who just talk and talk and talk. And I mean, I'm a mom of 2 little kids. One doesn't talk yet, but my 4-year-old, he just never stops talking. So like, I'm used to like, it didn't bother me in that sense. It was just a lot of talking. I found, I don't know. I wasn't like super like, oh my gosh, let me listen to every single word. Of course I did, but like I wasn't focused on how annoying it was. I was just like listening for something that was important. And he definitely gave a lot of that away.
Yeah. I think because for me, it's like when I'm listening to that kind of stuff, I can pause it and, take notes and then stop and then like get a mental health break because he won't shut up and then go back to it. So I wondered how hard it would be for y'all to be stuck there listening to it nonstop. Like, I say nonstop. Y'all did get breaks. But.
Yes. I think it helped knowing that we'd be able to listen to them again back when we went to deliberate. Yeah. They had already introduced it and they already explained that the evidence introduced would be able to go back in the jury room.
Yeah.
So I think that was helpful, at least for me. Just like, okay, if we need to, we can go back. But I don't know. I feel like I tried to pay as much attention as possible. I took notes on everything just because I know how my brain works. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. I'm going to remember that. And if I don't write it down, I'm probably not going to remember it.
Yeah. Did you believe that the talk about Harvey's birthday party was code for the hit on Dan?
I feel like in ways, yes. And I say that because of the text Donna sent. She was like, like, oh, a few minutes to Gainesville and I'll try to get a few minutes alone. Delete this text after you read it.
Mm-hmm.
If you were actually talking about a birthday party after it was revealed that there was actually no surprise gift and that the gift was all of his friends and family being there, you wouldn't have like asked him to delete a text. I feel like that was really like another piece of the puzzle, if you will.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was code, but I also think that they had a lot of different code, all for the same thing. So
yeah.
I can't like say exactly like, yeah, that was for sure code, but I think it helped.
Yeah. I thought the same thing because I thought, okay, Charlie's not the one that's with Harvey right now. Why does he need to delete that text? And then she said, I'm trying to get a loan so that I can talk to you. And then, delete this text. And then the one that she sent after that was the one about the birthday. And she didn't say to delete that text. So to me, I was like, I see what you're doing.
Yes, right. Because like, why would he need to delete that text? It's him deleting it isn't going to delete it for the both of you. Obviously, she knew that.
Yeah.
So, yes. It was just the timing of all of the evidence the state provided. It was just like too good.
Yeah.
Like they were really on top of their game.
Yeah. They're amazing. They've been doing this for a while, but they are so organized. And oh my gosh, every time during Wendy's testimony, when George was like, when he's like, I don't recall, she's like, refer to tab, whatever.
Yes, right. Like one after another. She's like, oh, looks like I said that. Yep.
Yeah. It was amazing. I loved that part. Like the Georgia and her tabs was like one of the highlights of the trial for me. So
yes. That excited my brain. Yeah,
me too. Did you find the jailhouse informants credible? There was Patricia Bird was the first one. Mm-hmm. And then Dina Bernhardt was the second one. Did you find their testimony credible, or did you kind of take it with a grain of salt, or what did you think there?
Yeah, I feel like we definitely, I know all of us have approached those testimonies with caution, like we were instructed to do, because they were charged and in custody over crimes of dishonesty. So you couldn't believe everything they said. I truly do believe Donna probably confessed in some way to Miss Bird. She probably did. I do believe that they were probably offered something in hopes that they would testify for her. Yeah. That part, I feel like you can't convince me otherwise. Also, with Drina's testimony, that's when the script came out. And the handwriting analysis, obviously she was very, very passionate about that. Also, one thing about that testimony from I forget the names and I feel so awful about it. But during that testimony, when she was analyzing the handwriting, explaining every single detail, I was also watching, everyone else. Donna and her defense attorneys were passing sticky notes back and forth and just cracking up. They were just having it all. Yes.
What?
Yeah, they were just trying to keep it low key that they were laughing, weren't taking it serious. But I'm like, this is kind of a big piece of evidence because, the defense is trying to paint this picture that Drina was forcing Donna to write all of that. But you see the video, she obviously wasn't.
Yeah.
But then, they're just sitting there cracking jokes the whole time.
Wow.
They weren't showing super expressive laughs. They were trying to keep it toned down and low key. But I noticed that and I was like, oh,
what could they even be laughing about? That's so
what I'm saying. I feel like this was too serious of a situation for them to be sitting there and laughing.
Yeah.
But
wow. Yeah, we totally missed that because we didn't get to see that. So
I did. So you're welcome.
I love the inside scoop. What did y'all think about the script? Did y'all talk about that in deliberations?
I think we did, very briefly though. I think our main points of talking about it were like, yeah, that was 100% valid. I don't remember who exactly pointed it out. But the connection between the email Donna sent Wendy with her script for Charlie's testimony or Charlie's trial, Wendy's testimony in Charlie's trial, and then the fact that Wendy wrote a script for Miss Drina Bernhardt for her to be a witness. So yeah, I've, like, and then of course the word extort being emphasized multiple times. I mean, like,
yeah.
I feel like that girl probably wouldn't have come up with that word on her own.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the defense tried to make it out to be like they were trying to convince everybody that, okay, well, yeah, she wrote it, but she wrote it because Drina was telling her to. And I kept waiting on them to expand on that, thinking that they were going to give us some kind of explanation for why they thought that. And they never did. They never
did. No.
They never told us. I think they just gave up on that because they were like, yeah, let's just, like, we can't convince them of that because that's a stupid idea. So,
I felt the same way. I thought it was I feel like they tried to shut down a lot of arguments, but it's like, when you think they should have offered insight as to why they were trying to shut it down and they didn't, it was like they just moved on to the next thing. I found that really confusing. I didn't understand, like, it's like you start arguing it and then you realize, like, oh, maybe I can't really argue that. So
you
just stop talking. I don't know. But yeah.
Okay. Another big topic for all of us was the two attorneys. It was Kristen Adamson and Linda Bailey who came to testify that the divorce wasn't so contentious. This is just totally normal and, like, oh, just run of the mill, no big deal. And Wendy, when she was asked by Georgia, was this divorce contentious? She said yes.
Yes.
So then to have them up there like, no, it was totally fine. Those two witnesses, especially Linda Bailey, the expert, the second one who testified,
the super lawyer.
Yeah. Let me hear your thoughts on it first before I start yapping my mouth on it.
Sure. Just like the rest of their witnesses, the defense's witnesses, I didn't understand what the heck they brought them up there for, because one of their pieces of evidence or their demonstrative was those two big boxes of someone else's divorce filings. Like, I was like, I sat there and I was just like looking like, what the why is this even relevant? I don't understand. I don't know why they were trying to argue that so much. And it was really frustrating because I found Linda Bailey's answers to all of those questions just really arrogant.
Yes.
Really arrogant.
Yes.
Just saying like, oh, this is all normal, and then not directly answering Georgia Kappelman's questions, just like dancing around it, or just saying like, it's not that serious, but like how you can't speak for everyone. You can't. Yes. And then it really like rubbed me the wrong way when she said like the $80,000, whatever. She's like, it's not even that much.
Yes.
I'm like, I mean, I know I'm like younger. I make like decent money for someone my age. I feel like I have a good career, but $80,000 would be nice. That's like a big deal for a lot of people. And I know we specifically talked about that in deliberations because, okay, 80,000 might not be a lot to you, Miss Super Lawyer of the last 37 years.
Right.
I think the general population thinks that's a lot of money. So she just rubbed me the wrong way. But on the other side of things, I found their testimonies very insightful. Like, I learned a lot about family law, which I thought was very interesting. So I do appreciate that about them. I just don't think they had any relevance to the case in general.
What about the way that they talked negatively about Dan?
Yeah, that was aggravating because the whole first half of the defense's opening statements were talking him up. Like, Jackie was getting emotional talking about how great of a guy Dan Markel was.
Yep.
But then every witness they bring up was like contradicting that. It's just, I didn't understand the game that they were playing.
Yeah.
I feel like they were like way more ahead than they actually were. I feel like that's what they thought.
Yeah. I feel like there were some times when it's like they would hint toward things and then just never go there. So it almost felt like it was trying to like they were trying to kind of bounce around and confuse us so that, maybe confusion would cause doubt, but it wasn't. And I know that, the case against Donna Adelson is strong. So defense attorneys can only go with what they're, you can only work with what you got. Yes. So I do understand that part of it, but I think sometimes it seemed like they were just trying to intentionally confuse everything,
I got that same sense, especially like with all of Jackie's like yelling and big whatevers. I got the sense of like, you're either doing this, like this is just how you are, or you're doing this on purpose, just trying to distract us from the obvious.
Yeah.
And I mean, I want to say it's not that I thought it was obvious during the trial, but at this point in time, after seeing it all, going through it all, that's my opinion looking back. Not during.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. How did you feel about Jackie yelling at y'all during closings?
Well, I mean, it definitely kept me awake.
Well, that's good.
She is very passionate, but I mean, she's also like, what's the word? Condescending, I feel like. Yeah. Like, you guys are smarter than that.
Yeah.
But with her very poor arguments against the states. I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words.
Yeah.
To describe exactly how I felt and like what she was trying to do. I don't know. I think looking back, they were really unorganized, a mess. Yeah. It was, but like I said, it kept me awake.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. I have to ask you about Jeff Lacasse, Wendy's ex-boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So, I need to know what you thought about his testimony. Did he seem credible to you, or did he sound like a scorned ex? Because everybody has different thoughts on him. Mm-hmm. So what did you think about him?
I feel like credible, sure. I just like, there's some things I just couldn't understand with him. The first and like biggest thing was him hearing about the hitmen. Mm-hmm. I guess hearing it as a joke in the hot tub the first time, sure, yeah, okay. You don't say anything. But then when Wendy says, "Can I tell you something in confidence?" And she's like, "So my brother looked into the whole hitman thing." At that point in time, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
So, especially with all of the other weird things he noticed during that time, like her extreme anxiety and just like the weird behaviors, I thought it was a little strange that he didn't. I'm so sorry about my lighting here. The sun is coming, so we're just gonna go fix that right quick. I didn't understand that part of things.
Yeah.
But also in the same sense, like he kind of gave off the vibes. I don't want to use the word creepy. I don't think he's creepy. I just think he's like a super nice guy, and he probably was like really wanting that relationship to work out.
Yeah.
At that point in time. So I feel like he's probably just doing anything he could to stay on her good side, I guess. But so that part was like really threw me off a little bit. Like he didn't say anything about that, especially because he noted it was weird. He thought it was weird and suspicious. Yeah. But also he gave a very good insight onto all of their behavior leading up and then, around the time and then after. his testimony also, when they confirmed like his car, I was a little confused at first, but then they got into the fact that the first time the hitman came to Tallahassee, the car they rented was so similar to Jeff's.
Yeah.
Wendy was asking super specific and weird questions about his travel plans and dates and what route he would take.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's coincidence that all of that aligned, you know? I really truly feel like they were trying to set him up.
Yeah. Yeah. It does come out like that. And I know some people think like, you know, some people are convinced that they were trying to set him up. Some people are like, oh, I think he's paranoid. But I think that there is a good chance. Now, is it something that I think is proven beyond a reasonable doubt? No, but I think that based on what we heard, you know, I think there could be a good chance that they were trying to set that up. And
yes.
I agree with you. He gave a lot of insight into the behavior and the specific dates that he gave. When you look at those on the main timeline, those are the dates. Like the first time she was crazy, anxious, and, you know, so sick and all that was the first time that the hitman came.
Right.
And then, you know,
the dates lined up with all of that activity. So it's just like, I just don't think it's coincidence. But of course, by itself, that's not something you can just say, oh yeah, 100% she's guilty. Just that on its own. But I think it helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought so. I mean, I valued his testimony in that sense. Like he gave a lot of good information. He also pointing out the fact that the first time he noticed the TV was broken was about a month prior to that appointment with the Geek Squad.
Yeah.
And I know I had an interview the other day, and I feel like it was explained to me, but I didn't understand why, if Charlie bought this TV, why their parents like set up the appointment and stuff. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah. The whole thing is very weird.
Yeah. I mean, all of it is really.
And yeah, like I think that they try so hard to make some of that information work. And they have excuses for everything, but it's just excuses that still don't make any sense to us normal people.
Yes.
So
I would agree.
Were you surprised that we didn't hear from Charlie?
Surprised? I mean, I don't know if I was surprised that we didn't. I feel like I might have been expecting it, considering Wendy and Rob testified. So I was like, oh, okay, the third child is probably bound to happen, right?
Yeah.
But the defense, was pointing out, or the state, it's hard to keep track, I'm sorry. But, whoever was arguing that Charlie's story and his trial and his testimony was that they were being extorted, whatever. Yeah. I think at that point in time, the state proved otherwise. So I don't know whose witness list he was on, if he was on any. I feel like I heard his name when they were naming their witnesses during selection. Yeah. Minor details, but I don't think what he had to say would have helped.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, I think he was actually on both witness lists, but he has an appeal pending. So I know he couldn't have, he wouldn't have come in and testified anyway. They transferred him there, but he wouldn't have done anything anyway. I also want to ask you about Ann Cunningham, Donna's bestie that came and testified. And okay, so she said that Donna had called her and she was like, oh, she called and she was so upset that Danny had been shot. And she said she was leaving for Tallahassee. And then when the digital lady came up, she was like, that call does not exist. Mm-hmm. And the defense attorney said that Anne had left and made it to the airport and they had her come back.
Yeah.
Just you could say, hey, you talked to her on other things too, right? Tell me what you thought about Anne and what you made of her testimony. And did you believe her story, or did you think that she was maybe mistaken or just trying to protect her friend?
I 100% think she was trying to protect her friend. Yeah. I think that's, yes, 100% trying to protect Donna. I could trying to think of good things to say. I could only wish that if I ever did something as illegal and extreme as the Adelsons, that I would have a friend like that try to protect me. But I don't think. Yeah, I I don't think they should have brought her. I think it was a risky move bringing in a character witness, and it happens to be her best friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all rich, and I feel like super rich people like that, like considering all of the messages and stuff we've seen, like, yeah, they're going to try to cover up what they can.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you believe her that she talks to her on Viber and WhatsApp and all that? Like, like Donna with her headphones on backwards knows how to work Viber and WhatsApp. Like,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Because I know she did after Charlie's trial because, you know, she
Yeah.
started using it then. But I'm thinking like back in 2014, were you really using this?
Right. Because, and then the state made the argument, which I didn't even know. Like I knew of WhatsApp for, I don't know, a long time, I guess. But like for them to know exactly what year they started allowing audio calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, well then it must have been Viber.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to argue, like, or you're going to testify that, you need to be 100% certain what you're saying. And she was not. Like, just the fact of like, oh, I guess it must have been the other one.
Yeah.
You came back from the airport for that?
Yeah, right. I was like, that could have been a memo, dude. Like, that was, I'd be so mad if you got me out of the airport to bring me back to ask me that. I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, I whatever. I mean, the defense clearly thought they were doing something, but I did not find her believable.
Yeah. Who do you think was the most helpful witness to Donna's case?
Like in her conviction, or like trying, like the most helpful to Donna?
Each. Like which one helped Donna the most and which one was the most damaging?
I think the most damaging, I would have to say there's going to be like two of them, right? It's going to be, oh my God, what's his name? The one who like presented all of the call logs and the mapping. I forget his name.
Oh, FBI agent, Special Agent Pat.
Sanford or Stanford?
Pat Stanford?
Pat, I think it sounds right. Him, I think he was very, very helpful for me, at least, because he really brought all those visuals together.
Yeah,
the dates, the times, the locations. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's good evidence there.
Yeah.
Him, and then of course Rob's testimony. Like, I really feel like his testimony is pretty powerful. I don't think anyone wants to testify against their mother. Just seeing how hard of a time he was having being up there, whether it was nerves or whatever else. Yeah. Because again, I'm not a body language expert, but I've studied like extensively in the psychology field. I do it for fun as well as like in school also. Yeah. Those things really interest me, so I just pick up on things. Definitely not an expert though, so I can't 100% say for certain. But I think those two were the most damning against Donna. Yeah. And I'm trying to think of like who could have possibly helped her.
Oh, it had to be the realtor who worked with Dan in like 2011 to look at a house that he never bought. That had to be. Wait, I was like, when that guy came up, I was like, why is he here? Why did they bring him? I remember thinking like of all the witnesses that I've ever seen in a trial that were the least useful, I felt like, and nothing against him, I'm sure he's a fantastic realtor and, a lovely man. But why do we need to know about that? Did y'all catch on to something with that I missed? Because to me,
I'll be honest, I completely forgot about that guy. I forgot about that little part. So it obviously did not hold much weight for me, but I feel like I understand what they were trying to do. Yeah. Like, oh, Dan was trying to buy Donna and Harvey a house here. So they couldn't have killed him, right? They couldn't have hired someone to kill him, right? Because he was trying to buy them a house,
and it was years before, like when they were still married and stuff. So it was crazy.
It was weird. So, I mean, I feel honestly, I feel like the most helpful witness the defense called was maybe the Kelsey girl from West Coast who also did like call detail logs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But that brings up a good point. It's because the defense was so focused on the FBI agent Pat Sanford's testimony, saying like those call detail logs and the frequency numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
They were like so gung-ho about those numbers not being accurate, but he explained in his testimony that they weren't. Like, it didn't represent how many times they actually communicated back and forth. It included calls made and received, like voicemail events, so the attempted calls. It even included text messages, if I'm not mistaken, what he said. So of course those numbers were going to be differing. They clearly paid that girl a lot of money for her insight and her analysis. I think she did a good job, but I think the defense's argument for bringing her in was a little ridiculous, because it's like, were you even listening to what you're trying to argue? Because no one ever said that those numbers were concrete and they represented the total amount of time someone communicated.
Yeah. I think Agent Sanford even said in his testimony, like, there are some duplicates on here, and like these are,
he
different.
Did.
So
he acknowledged all of the things the defense was questioning, but then the defense still went and was arguing.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we take away the what Mr. Pat Sanford said and like his evidence, I feel like if that were not there, Kelsey would have been very, very helpful to the defense.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's hard to pick out any witnesses that were helpful for them because they had such a bad case. So for me, it really was hard to, I remember when we were streaming it, I was trying so hard to find something nice to say. And so I was like, his tie is lovely. Like, the defense attorney, he's wearing a lovely color suit. So like, I was trying so hard to find something positive to say about the defense. And it was just,
I don't like to say mean things. And so, I was asked my thoughts, and I'm just like, acknowledging like the defense, it's not their job to actually disprove anything. The whole burden of proof was on the state. So like I've said before, they could have absolutely done nothing and they wouldn't have been in the wrong. So I guess like I applaud them for trying.
Yeah. Did you know that Jackie Fulford used to be a judge? I
did know that. I Googled every single attorney after deliberations.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah. I Googled them, and that's as far as like looking into the whole entire case as I've gone. I'm just not ready to like watch and really absorb all of the other information there is out there, because it was very overwhelming 2 weeks, like information overload.
Yeah. Do you think that you will eventually like watch the other trials or maybe go back and watch this one? I
think eventually, for sure. I just don't know when.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. I just know sitting there for 2 weeks, that was one trial. So if I'm like thinking about sitting there and just watching it on video, and there's 4 other trials?
Yeah.
I might struggle.
Yeah.
I think I'm intrigued now. Very interested to learn about all of the pieces that have come together.
I recommend watching, if you don't watch the whole trial, I recommend when you're ready for it to watch Charlie Adelson's testimony from his trial.
Oh, okay. I feel that would probably be good to watch.
That one was good. I was in the courtroom for that one, and I kept watching the jurors' reactions the whole time for that one to see how they were reacting, because everything he was saying, I was like, this doesn't even make sense. So I was, laser focused on, I think in all the clips where you can see me in the thing, everybody's looking forward, and I'm looking over at the jury like this, kind of what they're doing. So if you watch anything, I recommend watching that one, because the defense that Donna like kind of adopted is the defense that he gave. So he explains it in his testimony. So I recommend watching that one when you get ready.
That's I'm intrigued about that. So I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, it's something. Something. I have to ask too about Donna crying when they were showing Dan's picture. When she started like crying and her paralegal was like rubbing her back and like comforting her and all of that. Did y'all notice that, and did it seem genuine to you, or do you feel like that was part of an act?
I feel like a little bit of both. I feel like the fact that there was no tears coming down was kind of an act. I mean, I guess like if you've been crying long enough, sometimes you're just like, you look like you're crying, but no tears are coming, but she wasn't already crying. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe she has really dry eyes. Who knows?
Right.
I don't know. But I feel like that probably couldn't have been her first time seeing those.
Yeah. No.
Right? Like I feel like that's probably not the case. So I don't know why. I don't know. I can't say anything negative about her reaction to seeing those photos. They were very intense to look at. But it was kind of comical that Judge Everett had to tell her to control herself multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah. We were joking about that, about how, like, because I always say I can't fix my face because you can see what I'm thinking all over my face. And so that's the term I always use. We always joke about that. And so we were all joking about how, like, Judge Everett told her she had to go fix her face because she wasn't able to hold it in either. But
yes.
The planner too, the planner that had the tag number in it. Did y'all talk about that at all during deliberations?
We did, because when they oh my gosh, English, please. when they published it in the courtroom, right? You could clearly see that both Wendy's and Dan's car models were written, but only Dan's tag number was written. Yeah. And the fact that Donna wrote everything down and was so concise and detailed, like, it's just, it wasn't a good look for her to not have that piece of information for her own daughter, but you have Dan's license plate number. I even remember when we got dismissed after seeing that for just like a few minutes, I had to ask the bailiff if we were allowed to ask questions, because I remember the state said something like they were talking about the 2023 journal. Mm-hmm. And then they said something about 2024, but then she was talking about it and it was 2014. And I was like, okay, what year is this journal from? Yeah. So I was like, can we figure that out? And so I think they like secretly went, well, I guess to us, because we were in the jury room, they secretly went and clarified that. And then when we came back out, she clarified it also. Miss Kelman did. But yeah, it like, to not have Wendy's, she had the car model, the 08 Odyssey or something, 08, 04, whatever year it was, doesn't matter. Yeah. But yeah, not having Wendy's tag number and Dan's in the 2014 planner.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
also Dan's like super, not Dan's. Donna's super detailed travel records.
Yes.
Of Dan.
How weird is that?
That's so weird.
Like to
go back multiple years and have all of those concise, that's freakish.
Yeah. That's super creepy. And I feel like that goes to show, like, the one text that Wendy sent to Dan that was like, hey, are you going to be in town July 14th through the 18th or whatever? Those are the days that the hitmen were going. She was at Donna's house when she sent that message. She was down in Miami. So that part has always stood out to me too, because I'm like, she obviously keeps up with his movements and what he's doing and where he's going. So I feel like that made the whole situation look so bad for her.
Well, and then also the fact that the state showed an email a few months prior to that where they already had agreed upon those dates.
Yep.
So, as just another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. What about when they tried to argue that she wasn't actually outside of Charlie's house?
I think that was complete stupidity.
I feel like that would be insulting to me if I'm a juror and I'm like,
you can't, like, people can insult my intelligence all they want for me talking like a crazy person because my brain's all over the place. But I mean, if someone says, I feel like, I don't care who you are, if someone says, I'm outside your house, that 99.999% sure means they're outside your house.
Yeah.
But then they want to argue like, oh, their phones weren't pinging at the same location at the same time during that time frame. It's like, okay, yes, but Donna also knew how to get inside.
Yeah.
She could have gone in. She could have left before he got there. Or if he got there and they were still there, there's no point in them talking on the phone to each other.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have, like, their phones wouldn't have pinged anyway because they weren't being used to communicate.
Yeah. Do you think it would have made a difference if she took the stand? If there was something she could say that could just explain everything? Like I know this looks bad, but I have a simple explanation. Do you think that there's anything that she could have gotten up there and said that would have made a difference?
I don't think so. I think there's too much stacked against her at that
Yeah.
point. Like, I feel like maybe a couple things she possibly could have explained, but to have as much evidence as the state provided, I feel like you can't like logically go and sit in the stand and give a reason as to why those things don't look the way they are.
Yeah. What about the one-way ticket to Vietnam?
I mean, come on.
Do you think she would have turned herself in if she? No.
Of
course not.
No.
Of course not.
After I never even knew. I've seen so many questions like, have you seen her arrest video at the airport? Like, no, because up until the point where they talked about they arrested her at the airport, I had no idea about any of this. But to suddenly, immediately after Charlie's conviction, be on the phone in a panic, like, you need to come here, I need help with this, like with business and setting up all of these things. And then you're Googling non-extradition countries. You're on WhatsApp trying to get a fast track visa for the longest amount of time possible. And you just happen to buy a one-way ticket because you need a vacation indefinitely.
Yeah. To a country that you Googled as non-extradition. Like that's
like
it's Googled this.
She Googled it. So whether or not she was fleeing, I don't know. But also, why would her attorney at the time, the one of the witnesses, why would they have to call Miss Georgia Kappelman to get permission for her to travel if there was nothing against her?
Yeah, there was
at that point in time. She wasn't arrested at that point. So like, why would they have even called to get permission?
Yeah,
it just doesn't add up.
Yeah, I think I think they all knew it was coming. I think after Charlie was arrested during his trial, so much evidence, because I know you haven't seen this trial, so much evidence against Donna came out during his trial. So, and she watched his trial at Ann Cunningham's house. So I think that she, watching that trial, knew, like, I'm next. Like she knew it. She even texted.
She even said it. Said it. Like, I'm next. But
I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah.
Vietnam,
here I come.
But getting a one-way ticket to Vietnam. Yeah. Crazy.
Now, her outburst at the verdict, a lot of people could not understand what she said because we could see her reacting, but you heard it. Can you tell her?
Yes. She, after saying like, oh my God, or whatever she said initially, she's like, you're convicting an innocent woman with her fake crocodile tears.
There were no tears. Yeah, that's something we all noticed. Like she was so, like, she looked to me. It looked like she was angry, not like she was reacting.
Well, I mean, did you see? Like I saw her handcuffs when like she put her hands up, but she stomped them down like she was having a tantrum, like my 4-year-old would.
Yeah.
Now, all of that to say, I mean, her reaction absolutely broke my heart.
Yeah. It's heavy for sure. Yeah.
Like on the human side of things, but I feel like it was fake.
Yeah.
Like the tears, her anger and stuff, probably very real. Because I feel like a part of me feels like she really thought she was going to get away with it.
Yeah.
Like we weren't going to find her guilty or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, then even like all of those conversations between her and Charlie, where Charlie's like, "Oh, this is great. It's just the FBI." Like they thought that
I know. Like they thought like, oh, the FBI, no problem.
Yeah.
No biggie. Because if they had something against us, we would be arrested by now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
crazy.
Yes.
Okay. I know we're wrapping up. I still have a million questions, but I'll just try to get my last couple big ones. Can you just walk us through what happened when you got back to the deliberation room?
Yes. So we're all just kind of like standing there for a minute because the bailiffs were explaining like what happens now, that we can't start discussing until they're out, but they had to go get the evidence and bring it in. So we were just like, whatever, people were talking, just normal conversation. And then once they brought the evidence in and said, you need to pick your foreperson, we're leaving the room. We did that. I feel like there was like initially like an outbreak of everyone finally being able to talk, but then I feel like I broke in there and I was like, does anyone want to be the foreperson? I knew I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I was allowing the chance. And I was like, can I do it? Like, I would love to do it. Does anyone want to fight me about it? Because like everyone when asked, like, does anyone really want to do it? Everyone like just had a blank look on their face, like, I don't think I want to be that person.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's how we started. And I was excited about it. I feel like, and a lot of people after seeing my videos have really taken that the wrong way, which is funny because it's like, I'm not excited to sentence someone to prison for the rest of their life. I just think it was a very cool opportunity.
Yeah. And I want to say something about that too, real quick. I totally get what you're saying because I have said so many times, like, I would love to be on the jury. I would love to be the jury foreman. I would bring spreadsheets and snacks and all kinds of things. Like, I would love to be able to be a part of the justice system in that way. Is it heavy? Yes. Is it sad? Absolutely. Is it emotional? Is it all of those things? Yes. But it is still a very exciting moment to be able to be a part of the system that is here to protect us. And, I totally get what you're saying. And
I appreciate you actually understanding how I meant it then, because oh my gosh, the harassment is just insane.
Yeah, that comes with online. Like, people have
100%
all kinds of stuff to say. Yeah.
Already knew that, but it's just crazy to me.
Yeah,
like, who in their right mind is going to be excited to sentence an old woman to prison for the rest of her life? No one wants to do that. But the fact that I was able to like take initiative and be able to like kind of lead discussions in the way that I know is going to sit right in my mind and like just like make me feel good. I also didn't want to waste the rest of my entire day in deliberations. Like, if someone else were going to be in charge and not take control of making sure everyone was staying on topic, and just, if we got off topic, which we did a couple times, but it wasn't for long because I had to, I think I used my mom voice one time just to bring everyone back in because there's like 6 different conversations going on.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm hearing things and it's not even about what I just asked you guys. So like, let's get back to it. But yeah, so whatever. Once we sat down, and it was basically like, for a second, we were all just quiet, and it's like, all right, let's start. Like, we did not take an initial vote because I don't think that would have been right. Just like, who has questions? Like, who wants to like get something off their chest about what we've just experienced the last 2 weeks? So we started that, and then I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. I wasn't looking at the time, so the time, I might be inaccurate. I don't know. I feel like about 10-15 minutes in, then we're like, okay, let's start going over things. Like, let's read the definitions of the law. Like, let's read what principle is and like what that means in this case and all of those things. Talk about it. Like, does anyone have questions about that? No, let's move on. So we start talking about the evidence that we think is damning for her and like could cause the guilty verdict. And about that like hour and a half mark is when we took like our first vote. And like I've said, there's a few people, like 2 to 3, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that were just like not 100% sure. They were like, I'm like 90% sure she's guilty, but like I'm just confused on this one point of like one of the charges. Like, I don't know if she's guilty for that. And so if I agree with like 2 of the 3 elements, do I really think she's guilty on that charge? I don't know. Like, let's talk about it. So then it's basically like, okay, great. So like, what questions are you stuck on? Like, what is confusing? Maybe we can like all help each other clear it up. And like, we've already discussed the whiteboard. That was super helpful. Super helpful. Yeah. Because I feel like almost all of us were visual learners. Like, we needed that element of writing down exactly what evidence we found that would apply to these charges and like get that guilty verdict. So it was fun, honestly. Like, we all had a good time. I was so shocked, like just 12 random people, and we got along pretty well.
Yeah. And
Like
y'all were like all over the place, like as far as like age and, background. Like there was, cause I remember I was taking notes during the voir dire cause I was trying to like, cause I'm an obsessive weirdo like that. And like, there was like, a woman who was like a widow on there. And then like, like people that were retired and stuff. There were all these different, like y'all were kind of all over the board.
Yeah.
And I think the youngest was 20. Is that right? I think there was a 20-year-old guy.
20. I don't know who was the youngest, but I feel like there was like 3 people younger than me even.
Yeah.
I'm like in my mid to late-ish kind of 20s. Even though everyone thinks I'm 12. I look good. Thank you. Aging well.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Yeah, no, there was a few people younger than me, but then there was also like I feel like our jury was very balanced.
Yeah.
I feel like we were probably, maybe I'm being biased in this sense because we all got along, we all liked each other, but I feel like we were like the dream jury. Like super well balanced, all walks of life.
Yeah.
12 completely different ways of thinking, but we were still able to come together cordially and reach like a very serious decision.
Yeah. I think for me, it would be so hard not to talk about, because we sit here and talk about it and obsess over it, all day long as everything's coming out. It would be so hard to not talk about it, because then everything that's happened over all of the 8 days, you have to talk about it all, or even, 9 days technically, because then you have closings too to talk about. So how hard was that to just like talk about, lunch and snacks and, kids or whatever, but not talk about any of that stuff? That'd be so hard.
It was really challenging because like my brain would just like be bursting at the seams, like, oh my gosh, I want to talk about it. But I knew we couldn't do that. And everyone else knew that too. And I think there was like I feel like half of us at least were like really outgoing, very talkative, like could talk about anything. And I think that really helped us. Yeah. Like we get back and we know the rules and it's like, okay, someone just starts talking about this and then everyone's in conversation about totally different things. So it worked out good. I also spent a lot of time on our breaks playing solitaire on my phone. So that helped.
That's good. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what was the most rewarding part of everything for you?
How much I learned.
Yeah.
Crazy. I think it was like the coolest freaking experience. And I'm so grateful to have been selected and take part in that. Yeah. Because like, I feel like nobody thinks jury duty is cool. Like there's so many, especially young people. Oh my gosh. What was the percentage? There was like so many people summoned for this trial specifically. Mm-hmm. And I think it was either like somewhere in the 20, 30, 40% range actually showed up and answered their summons.
Oh, wow.
So like, there's just like that many people who like do everything they can to just not show up for their civic duty. Being able to actually partake and like be a part of that was, I don't know how to explain it. It was just the coolest freaking experience. And I'm so grateful for everything I learned. Yeah. Like it has me like rethinking my career choice because I'm like, wow, this stuff is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. What was the most challenging part?
Really forcing yourself to not have any solid opinions until the very end. Mm. Yeah. Because I feel like it's human nature to just like automatically judge something, Yeah. But just keeping your mind open that whole time, and then just being fair till the very end. I think that was probably a little challenging. And then also, the fact it was 2 weeks. A lot of people were saying they weren't even getting paid from their employers. Like people were just missing 2 whole weeks of life. Yeah. And what do we get? $15 a day, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. Big money. Yes. I thought that was going to be the big perk for you. Like when I said what was the most rewarding part, I thought it was going to be the $15 a day.
But $15 a day? No.
Yeah. That was a close second, right? That was a close second.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I feel filthy rich after that.
Right. Right. It's like $80K, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So last two questions.
Mhm.
One is, what is the one thing that you think would surprise people the most about being on the jury?
Surprised them the most? I don't know. Like, I guess what surprised me the most was like the special VIP treatment we received. I was like, wow, we're a big deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Y'all are like the total celebrities of the whole thing.
Yeah. It was cool. But also the fact, oh shoot, what was I gonna say? I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I lost my thought there.
I do that all the time. It flutters.
Yes.
It's funny too, actually, before I get to my last question, because here I am, squirrel. It's funny because everybody, like all of my chat is like, they say that like, you're like a younger version of me. Like you're like me, like,
That's
you know,
great.
15, 20 years ago, because a lot of the things that you've said about like how you're visual and you take notes and you know, are kind of all the things that you do. So I think that's kind of funny because I'm like, a lot of the things that you say, I'm like, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. That's what I do. So that's funny.
I like
All
that. That's nice.
So anytime you want to come, if you're just like, you know, hey, I want to come watch another trial, come watch with us. You can come and chat and hang out with us and watch and chat with us if you're interested in trials now. You can become one of us now.
Yes, I thought it was so interesting. Because I've lived under a rock most of my life, apparently. If I'm watching TV, I swear to God, it's like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or Bluey, you know? Like,
Yeah.
That's awful.
All right, final question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you wish that everybody knew that I didn't ask? Anything that you think that everybody should know? Whether it's about the process or your experience or anything.
Let me see. Give me just a second. Gotta review.
Go through your notes. Get it, because this is like the biggest question of all of them. What?
And you know, I'm gonna not have anything crazy to say, and then as soon as we're done, I'm like, oh, I should have said that.
Yep, I do the same thing. Because I'm always curious about that. You know, I ask all the questions that I have in my mind, but then I'm always like, is there anything that, you know, I didn't know to ask that would have been something cool for us to learn? Like you saying that, you know, the reaction of Donna being so different with Rob and Wendy, or her passing notes and, you know, during the script.
Yeah,
writing.
like them cracking up jokes. That was a big thing. I feel like we covered a lot, but I don't know. I mean, you obviously, I assume, know the duties of a foreperson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of people who don't. So I think the most surprising thing,
There's a lot of people who don't. You
don't coerce your peers, the fellow jurors, to reach what you think is right. You kind of like guard the conversation to stay on track. It's not like I did everything myself. I feel like that's really important to know. It took 12 of us, and we were 12 very different people, and we like got together and made that choice. So I feel like, I don't know, you hear foreperson, and I feel like people's assumptions are just that you make the decision yourself and you kind of yell at everyone to make them agree with you, but that's not the case at all. So I think that's, like I said, super important to know.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. And you gave us so much insight. I said, I was like, oh, you know, do like an hour and a half. And I know I've kept you like almost an hour and 40 minutes. So we've gone over.
It's
but
okay. There's so much to talk about. And it's been so interesting and so fun to share the experience because, I mean, I had no idea it was going to be the way that it was. And I think it's cool to be on the other side of it now.
Yeah, yes. Definitely. Well, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for hanging out with you. And thank you for doing your civic duty and being excited about it because like you said, like a lot of people aren't. And I would totally be like, I have never been given a jury summons. I'm 41, 42. I'm 40 something.
40 something. Okay.
I'm 42. And I've never been given a jury summons. So I would love to. And then, you know, like here you are, you know, what'd you say, like mid to late 20s, and you've gotten them like 4 or 5 years in a row. So I'm super jealous.
Ever since I became like a legal resident in Florida, because I'm originally from Minnesota. I know, like, I'm going over our time too, just rambling on and on. I'm originally from Minnesota, and I moved to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, at the very end of 2018. And then during COVID, got laid off from work. I was working at a hotel. Obviously, no one's traveling, so they just kind of like cut everyone loose. Yeah. And so we ended up moving to Tallahassee, and I've been here since 2020. July 2020, and I have been summoned every year since moving to Tallahassee. But this was my first time making it through and getting selected, and turns out it was a freaking 2-week-long major trial, and I've never heard of it. I promise that's possible. Yeah.
That's, well, the last trial that I live streamed was like 2 or 3 months. So it's so God. sometimes they it was in Boston. It was forever. Tallahassee's beautiful. Like it is incredible. I told people about that when they were talking about how, they hate Tallahassee. I was like, it's so beautiful. Like the Spanish moss on the trees and just everything about it is just,
it's very like the woodsiness of it reminds me a lot of Minnesota, which I love. I don't want to live there anymore, but
it's cold.
I love the nature. And so it feels like a piece of home. Although I don't want to stay here forever. I feel like I don't know.
Don't tell me you're going to Miami.
Oh. No. No. I feel like if you're not like an FSU student, or like you're not retired, or like just have like a very good career here, I don't feel like it's going to be long term for my family, but it hasn't been awful. So
well, I got it. I'm in PCB, so PCB is beautiful too, but we don't have the Spanish moss on our trees. So it's not the same, but
definitely not.
All right, Daisy, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I know everybody here appreciates it too. So I hope I asked all of the questions that y'all wanted me to ask. And if not, sorry, because I just asked all the questions that I wanted to ask. So, but I appreciate all of y'all. Any last thoughts?
Not for me. I don't know. I'll think of it later. Maybe I'll share again. But as of right now,
well, then we'll have to do all this again.
Yes, I appreciate you.
I'll come up with all more questions. So we'll just hang out again for another hour and a half. All right. I appreciate all y'all watching. Thank you so much. And I will see you next time.